In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. Today I'm joined by Edwin Endlich, the Chief Creative Officer and maybe the Chief Marketing Officer at Wysh. We'll find out in a second. A groundbreaking fintech company dedicated to reimagining financial protection for those who are often overlooked by traditional systems. With a strong foundation in creative education, Edwin approaches product design through a storyteller's lens, developing AI-driven tools that resonate on a human level. Well, that is great news. Edwin, thanks so much for spending some time with me today.
Very excited to be here. This is great.
Well, tell us, what in the world are you doing at Wysh? Let's get that understanding first, and we can dig into the rest of it.
Yeah, so I am the Chief Marketing Officer at Wysh, which also includes overseeing all of the creative. So it's
good.
a mix of two worlds here. So it's a mix of creative and marketing, so like left brain and right brain. And so really what we do is that we are really focused on how we could make, the confidence that come with having some sort of life insurance, even if it's small, we believe makes people sleep easier and makes people feel better knowing that if anything happens to them, their family's taken care of. And we think that should be more accessible. It should be cheaper. It should be free if possible. And so Wysh spends our day in, day out talking with financial institutions, talking with banks, talking with fintechs to see how we could help them embed free life insurance as part of their offering to their customers. So adding it as a benefit.
So then you guys are in a B2B play primarily?
Primarily, yes. Okay. We also do direct-to-consumer insurance. We can do that. Absolutely. That's sort of the tried and true kind of traditional model, which we started at. That's how we got all of our licenses and became a carrier and all of the hoops we had to jump through for years to do that. But we do see a real big frontier with embedded insurance, with that approach to B2B in allowing free life insurance to be part of your credit card benefits. It's part of your banking benefits. Things like that is something we think is really exciting.
Interesting. Just as an aside, I just saw this, some kind of a post or news article about Walmart taking insurance out on their employees. But did you see that, or have you seen anything about that where companies?
I did not, but I know the practice.
Yeah, and it was not like key staff or key staff insurance. It was just in general. So anyway, I'm wondering, what are you seeing? I mean, obviously you guys are a tech forward company. So where did AI, in terms of your marketing development, where did that fit in, and how are you guys leveraging the tools that we have at our disposal now?
Yeah, we actually, are pretty proud that we were really early adopters in the AI race, especially for, insurtech and fintechs tend to usually be slow with new technology. AI was something that we saw promise in really early, especially from a creative perspective. And we were using it very early on. Midjourney, I think, was our first, platform that we were using. And I think that was just a game changer for us in marketing, in being able to, present creative concepts quickly and visually in an age where it used to just be take my word for it. This is going to be cool.
Yeah, right.
You now could use a prompt to get even just a simple visual together, and of course now it's become very intricate in terms of the text comes through very clearly in AI image prompts now. But at the time, we felt it helped speed up the creative approval process, maybe in half. It cut it in half.
Right. Yeah, I think it's hard to picture what we used to have to go through, like to say spin content for different ICPs, right? Which, like
Yeah.
that was like weeks and weeks of work around storyboards and cutting and pasting, and like literally it was time consuming work. And now with just a few prompts, you can spin all your content complete with A/B headline testing and images and all those things, and it's instantaneous in comparison.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes the strategic work of creativity move a lot faster. So whether it's looking for human insights, whether it's putting together a brief for your creative teams, I think AI has sped things up a lot, which is amazing. And I feel like even the strategists I know and who at one point were really threatened by AI are now being looked to be the experts in that
Right.
system. So their role is now changing to be more being the driver of the AI car is what clients are looking for from their strategists right now.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think there's kind of what I'm seeing with my clients is kind of a lull, right? Like there was a lot of rush to adoption and experimentation, and then the people who kind of got hooked are hooked, and then everybody else is kind of like, well, I'll just go back to business as usual because I didn't necessarily find a lot of value with it. So I think we're, at least what I'm seeing in my clients, there's kind of a rest period right now, and a chance for those of us who are the docents or the guides of this to continue to bring in more our tools and be ready to lead into the kind of like the next energized phase of this whole thing.
Sure. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I do feel like we had a very high energy year of adoption and trial and error was a lot of fun. Now, when things don't work on a platform that I'm using, I get frustrated a lot faster than I used to.
Right.
And I feel like that leads to a little bit of the lull in the energy of the space. But I agree. I feel like things are going to kind of have, another burst of energy once that, agentic AI really becomes stronger and allowing people to do long form tasks, really have that personal assistant who can actually take control of your computer and do things for you, I think is going to be that next real spike of excitement. And I think we're probably a year away from a really good burst of excitement there.
Yeah, I agree. I probably tried 25 agent platforms, right? And I just in the last 2 weeks have found one that works for me, where I can, I can spin up agents, I can give them the task flow, connect, the Excel sheets, connect full enrich and some of these other tools, and then actually have it go and do work that I'm envisioning an agent should do. They're still dumb. The agents are still kind of like, I think the agents are like 2 years behind the LLMs in that respect, right? Like
Sure.
the anticipatory nature of is not very good yet.
Yeah, no, we always say at Wysh, if you're using an agent, you really have to assume it's your first year intern. It's going to take a long time to do something pretty simple. You're going to have to check it 3 or 4 times. You're going to have to check in on it as it's working. So it definitely isn't that place where I'm saying it is, taking someone's position away from them. We're a ways away from that.
Yeah. Well, so I did a pod yesterday where I showed Notebook LM going into a custom GPT, going into a Replit set of tools, and then connecting the agent. So that's kind of my workflow now for a lot of the projects I'm doing. I'm building customer one-off tools in Replit, and then I'm connecting the agents into that. What does your team look like in terms of different stages of AI utilization for campaign development?
Yeah, for campaign development and for marketing work, I think it really all starts with meeting note capture is a game changer, I think, for
I
agencies.
agree. Yeah.
The amount of ideas that get thrown out in a meeting, you didn't really even know how many happen until you have a transcript,
Right.
which we haven't had only until like the past few years. Is even the idea of recording a meeting, especially an internal meeting, was very foreign. So even just starting there was a big game changer for us to start to record, transcribe, and utilize those transcripts as a PDF file into, not just help me generate a meeting recap, but as I'm working, I can use that transcript to ask my AI to refer back to ensure I'm solving the problems we were talking about in that meeting, which I think many times I would have forgotten by lunchtime what the
Easy.
issue was in that meeting.
Especially back-to-back meetings, right? There's no way you're going to remember.
Absolutely. So I actually feel like that was one of the first things where I said, this is amazing. This is really great. And there are a lot of exciting ways people are using it where they, create a persona from the meeting. And so you actually talk to the meeting in AI. And so you could get all the details, all the nuances of what happened in the meeting, get sort of any information that you feel like would be good to capture and see fulfilled in a piece of creative is amazing. So you really, it always was good for me to be able to go and kind of, check my work against what the CEO is passionate about in the kickoff meeting, and not just to have to refer to my memory to think, because I think we have a ton of bias in terms of, I swear he loved my idea, is what I think came out of the meeting. But I've been surprised that AI, when I ask it, like, what were the top 3 most, talked about ideas that were discussed, it's a little different than what I remember it.
Absolutely.
So I always found that interesting too.
I love it. I think I love that you bring that up because I think the note taker is so ubiquitous now. It's kind of an annoyance, right? Like when you're like whenever you're pulling the meeting together. But it is true. The note taker is a foundational step, and I love the Zoom videos also because I'll take that and put it into my proposal generator, for instance, and then I'm able to just generate the proposal right off of that last call with the prospect. And it pulls all those things that I glossed over into the proposal and into the executive summary. So I love that as part of the workflow. All right, so we got the meeting minutes, and then where do you guys go from there?
A lot of times I always give my teams chances to just have a brainstorm, even with themselves, with a voice memo. Again, it kind of goes back to that transcription service type thing, but being able just to kind of free form talk out your idea, really sort of take half an hour and just talk and don't stop. It's like we used to do this with with how we'd write. You would say don't take your hands off the keyboard when you start a project on the creative team. That's kind of changed now to say just talk for half an hour, and watch your ideas start to form, and allow the AI to kind of help organize those ideas for you, put them into a plan of action of what would I need to do next to make this idea a reality? Or what are the 4 obstacles I'm going to face bringing this idea to life? So almost pre-vetting your idea with a project manager is a way that the teams have come out of the meeting now with really clear direction. Now they go back and brainstorm, and that brainstorm is now more efficient and more note captured and more organized, and using AI to craft the next steps from that now allows a creative team that used to be a little bit throw their hands up saying, it's not my job to figure out what to do next. They now don't need a project manager to hold their hand all day saying the next step is this. You have this, do this. So being able to kind of start to utilize the AI tools that exist today to bring creative teams along the journey of development like a project manager.
Yeah, I love that. And I'll oftentimes say, like, what's the 10-step action plan for this, right? And and then it's like 7 of the things I hadn't even thought of, so, and they're good ideas. So there is a lot of value to talking it out with especially with the custom GPTs. I think that's kind of my bias is we really, our job as professionals is to build the custom GPT and make sure we have guardrails on it, both philosophically and ethically and intellectually in order to get really good output from it.
Yeah. And you really just have to be patient, and you have to be kind to yourself and to your AI during that process, which I think is helpful.
And I guess what do you use in your day-to-day work? Are you a chat guy? Are you a Claude guy? Where do you land in the models?
Yeah, I kind of jump through a few. I kind of have like a multimodal model.
Nice. Geez, yeah.
Right? It's like
Helpful,
that's a tongue twister. But in terms of depending what I'm working on, when I need to write, I think that Claude is a really strong crafter of copy and content,
for sure,
especially things that are thought leadership perspectives, things that you need real help that makes it a little bit less like it, traditionally AI sounding content. I think Claude does a really nice job taking your ideas, helping polish them, and it stays your idea. So I use Claude for that type of work. ChatGPT, I spend a lot of time in for, transcription, for notes, deep research. I use occasionally on ChatGPT with which I like. I also just feel like I'm able to train ChatGPT really well. So in terms of a knowledge base, I've got maybe 10 to 12 documents for each of my projects and for each of my GPTs. So it really knows what our business is, what our challenges are, what our voices are, and work with. But I have been impressed with the products in Google. Gemini, I think, has come a long way. Nano Banana is now a really great image platform. I was just doing some silly things with my daughter on that platform and was shocked. I was like, that's actually... This is really good.
It's amazing. Yeah. You can see that in a very short amount of time, we're not going to be able to tell the difference between a photograph and AI generated images.
No, and we were using it as like illustrations for like a friend of hers. Like we wanted to make a joke poster for her, and we made one, and it just looked so funny that she kept it, she shared it with her family. It went,
love it,
in like our world, it was viral.
It was viral. I love it.
12 people in our circle. But again, those are the types of experiences that people will have that make you that will introduce you to a new platform and say, hey, I didn't think of that one for work, but now after that experience, I'm now open to it. So it's like you start to realize that the same laws apply as a consumer to AI. Like, you try something once, you're kind of interested, you try it again, it works out better, and you keep going. And so platforms really do have an opportunity to be challengers and bring in new ideas. I don't think the old players are the only games in town.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. That we are kind of reaching a spot where we're going to need like the sockets to plug in for each task, right? And so got my Claude socket for my writing, and then I got my Nano Banana socket for the image generation, and then Chat is kind of like my old familiar, car from high school, that sort of thing. So I really want to respect your time. I do have a couple questions for you. I picture that in the world of finance, you guys are doing a lot of account-based marketing, and that you're targeting specific companies. Is that accurate? Wild
Yeah, like
estimation.
as we start, like especially as we start conversations with, a financial institution, it's a long process that
Yeah.
we go through with them, and a big part of our job is to ensure that they see the excitement around what the product could do and what it could say and what
Yeah.
their customers might see. So being able to do a quick mock-up of the website with a new hero image on it that talks
Right.
about the
Yeah.
partnership with Wysh. All that stuff is so much easier to do now that we could turn those around in minutes as opposed to days. Putting together custom presentations for individual clients, even in a look and feel of their brand for the presentation, is something you could turn around very easily on a platform like a Gamma, which
Yep.
I think is a nice presentation platform. I've liked how it's evolved this year. So things like that, when you're servicing accounts, I actually think AI helps make those presentations and meetings more visual, more exciting, and more branded to
Yeah.
the client you're talking to.
Love it. And then you guys strike me to be more of a HubSpot shop than a Salesforce shop. So
Yep, yep. We are HubSpot shop. Uh, yeah.
And then or what kind of tools are you using to do research on the actual humans who you're prospecting or presenting to?
In terms of like the actual leads and like CRM of like how we know who we want to talk to and how we're generating those
And then
those
how you're customizing or making things personal to the people that you're talking to. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's always, I always find the best is a mix of old school and new school. So like, we still believe in, the idea of the conference list that you get of
Yeah.
people who are going to CES this year.
Right.
You now have an analog, very tried and true. These are the people who make decisions for these companies.
Right. Yeah.
So you kind of have to start with that analog old schoolness,
I
but
like
then
that.
be able to, turn that into an actionable spreadsheet. Have an agent platform on ChatGPT, pull all of their LinkedIn pages, kind of
Right.
create profiles for each of them, organize them by city so that we can kind of say, hey, here's a group that are all local that probably know the area.
Oh yeah. Right.
And we could then ask, hey, if we wanted to have a dinner that evening for the people, for the contacts that we know are from Vegas or
Yeah.
from California, give us 10 ideas of good places to host an event for that, and now
Yeah.
create the invitation for that event.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so now all of a sudden, like, starting with that analog contact list, and slowly start to like add on some of these new tools,
Yeah.
just allows you at the end of the day to have really strong outreach to these leads that are personalized, that feel like we actually know who you are, we know your business challenges, we know your schedule at the conference, we know that you're going to probably need a drink on Thursday night. We're going to be hosting an event that we know is near your hotel.
Right.
You could come upstairs, and we'll have a game on the TV that we know you're probably into.
Right.
Things like that. You could cater every outreach that personalized to a lead to give them a sense that, which is true, that we care, want to
Right.
engage with them. We really do believe that we can personalize our product to their business challenges, but we have to get our foot in the door at scale, and these tools help us do that.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. I love it. I love that sequence of events, and I agree that you do care, and you're instead of having to spend 25 hours in research, you can get it done. Get a
Yeah,
whole campaign done in a day, right?
Exactly. And like, we'd rather, be, with a client. Like, we've been developing a campaign for a client this week for a launch next week. And, we used to be able to maybe do 3 or 4 creative assets in a week for a client. We're now able to do 15 to 20 pieces of creative in a week for a client, which just makes us much more valuable than we used to be to our clients. We now are able to bring a lot of power to the table thanks to these tools.
Yeah. Well, I love it. Edwin, if somebody wants to get in touch with you and have a conversation about marketing or about life insurance or about anything financial, how do they do that?
Yeah, so we are at Wysh, WYSH.com. And you could find us on LinkedIn. You could find us online. But LinkedIn is where we really sort of tell our story and connect with people most. So you will find us there, and always happy to chat.
All right. Well, I'm very grateful for your time today. Thanks for spending some time talking marketing with me. Appreciate that.
No, this was great. Thank you.
All right, great. Well, hang on for me while I close the show, and we'll say goodbye properly. All right, thanks. Well, there you have it. I love the process that Edwin broke down there of even though the computer is doing some work, it is still about caring about the people and finding out about what the human needs are and addressing those in outbound marketing, and by using the tools in a smart and correct way. I hope you found value in the show today, and I hope that you take some time this week to dig in and create some custom GPTs for yourself, or test out some new AI software, and that you can get back a few hours from your work week. And with that newfound time, that you continue to upskill, that you spend it with your friends and family, and that you get outside into nature, away from the screens. This is Emanuel Rose, Marketing.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.